Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it's nice to see you today. What brings you in today?
Well, Walter has dementia, and lately his dementia has been getting a lot worse, and he's been forgetting to wear his hearing aids. I've also found a bunch of hearing aids and old accessories that he used to have, and when I ask him about them, if he needs to be using them, he doesn't remember that he has them. He doesn't remember what they're used for. And so he's also not wearing his hearing aids all the time because he's not remembering that he has a hearing loss, even though he's had a hearing loss for over 15 years. And I'm just kind of in today because I want to get a better understanding of his hearing loss and like how I can better help him because it's getting very frustrating because he cannot hear. And so really we need to figure out a better plan going forward.
You know, I appreciate you coming in and being an advocate for your husband. I was curious if you feel like your communication breakdowns are more due to his hearing loss or more due to his dementia and memory.
Yeah, I think both because dementia has been affecting a lot of other areas, but it's just making it worse when he forgets to wear his hearing aids because then he really can't hear. I mean, like I said, he's had a hearing loss for 15 years, and I can only imagine it's gotten worse since the first time he got tested. And so we really need to do something, and I really want to be there for him in this time because, he's just forgetting a lot of things, and I also want to be able to kind of explain to him why he needs to wear these hearing aids when he forgets.
Yes. Okay. Well, we do have several devices that can be used to help keep the hearing aids on him. These little alligator clips that can clip onto the shirt, and certainly having an advocate like you around that will help to remind him to wear them, especially if you know more about what these hearing aids and these devices are supposed to do. I think he will definitely find some more success having somebody like you around. I was just curious to see, I see here that he has had his hearing tested before.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time he got his hearing tested?
Walter, do you remember? I would say about maybe 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, what I would like to go ahead and do today is I would like to go ahead and reevaluate his hearing because hearing loss can change. And if there is an increase in hearing loss, I would like to get his devices adjusted to his hearing.
Okay.
I would also like to go over what each device does, how to keep it clean and maintain it so that it can last longer and not break down, and that you'll be able to explain it pretty well. I also see here on your case history that Mr. Jones's mother had hearing loss as well.
Yes, but if I remember right, it was towards the later part of her life.
Okay, it's toward the later part. And he's had a history of ear infections. Can either of you tell me how often those used to occur?
I don't really know because he wouldn't really say anything when he had an ear infection, but as far as I know right now, he hasn't had one in the past 2 years.
Okay. No dizziness, vertigo?
Not that he complains of.
Okay, all right. And no injuries to the head. That's very good. I see here that he had the measles. When did this happen?
The measles happened probably about 10 years ago, so it's been a good while.
It's been a good while, okay. But at this point, he had already had the hearing loss?
Yes.
Okay. Well, given this information, I feel comfortable going ahead and continuing with the hearing evaluation, so I'm going to go ahead and take your husband back. If you'll follow me, we'll go ahead and evaluate your hearing. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Jones, we have concluded our hearing evaluation.
How do you do?
Well, I can see that his hearing loss has progressed a little bit since his last hearing evaluation. I looked in his ears, and his ears look okay. His eardrums look healthy. I measured how his middle ear is working, how his eardrum is moving. He got type A for both ears, which is telling me that his eardrum is functioning properly. When we did the pure tone test, when he responded to those beeps, This is the audiogram. I know you've seen this before. On this side, we've got low pitches to high pitches, like the keys on a piano. And on this side, we have loudness, from quiet to jet engine loud. The circles are the right ear, and the X's are the left ear. And we typically like normal hearing to be above this line. Okay, these are the softest sounds that he could hear. Given this information, it shows me that his low frequencies, the vowels, the power of speech, ah, ee, oo, he's able to understand, but the consonants of speech, they're higher pitched and they're very quiet. So the p, t, k, he is missing those sounds. And so he probably hears you, but it probably sounds like you're mumbling to him. And I do believe if we can get you to consistently wear your amplification, that we'll see a little bit more success. Given this test here, when I made the words loud enough, he got 92% correct in the right ear and 88% in the left ear, which tells me he does really well when he's wearing his amplification.
Yeah, when he wears his amplification, we don't have a problem. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that he forgets to wear his amplification, and he forgets why he has to wear his amplification. He doesn't understand always that he has a hearing loss because he forgets.
Absolutely.
With the dementia.
I would like to, one, recommend alligator clips that will hold it to his shirt. But number two, we have these oral rehab sessions, and they're every Friday. I would like to strongly encourage that you and your husband come visit us. At these oral rehab groups, we go over how to manage your hearing loss. We go over how to manage your devices and how to program them. Especially, this is good for the spouses of those with hearing loss.
With programming, do you mean I can adjust the hearing aids myself?
You can adjust them to a point. You can turn the volume up and down a little bit. Major programming, I suggest bringing it back to me. But I suggest you come to our oral rehab. We have plenty of groups and support groups. We have dementia support groups for spouses that you can try. But I would like to go ahead and go over the hearing aids and the assistive devices. If you would, what questions do you have for me about his devices?
Well, I have a couple of questions about with his dementia. With his dementia, is his hearing loss going to get worse faster versus if he didn't have dementia?
I don't believe that the hearing loss will get worse due to the dementia, but I do believe that lack of auditory input, a lack of hearing, is not going to slow the symptoms of dementia, because it's use it or lose it. If your brain's not getting that stimulation, it's getting weaker. And so I strongly recommend trying to bring those sounds back to him just to keep his brain working a little bit harder.
Well, I read an article online that hearing loss can speed up dementia, and I'm really worried about that. And I'm really worried if that's why these past couple of months have been so bad, is that he hasn't been wearing his hearing aids consistently. Mm-hmm. Is that one of the reasons why? Should I have been harder on him?
I wouldn't blame yourself. It's something that is very hard to consistently upkeep. I don't think that hearing loss is the sole contributor to dementia, but I understand that this must be very difficult for you.
It is very hard. It's just him and I right now. Our kids live off somewhere else, and I just don't want him to get worse because I don't know what I will do if he gets worse.
Yeah. What kind of things do you two do on a daily basis?
Well, not much. We're 82, and pretty much it's just kind of getting around and trying to stay as active as possible, but it's been very hard lately with his dementia getting worse.
What type of activities do you do to stay active?
We go out to eat a lot together. We try to walk around. We enjoy walking around the neighborhood a lot.
And he goes for walks with you?
Sometimes, not as much lately, but that's something I try to keep him doing to kind of be a physical activity.
Mm-hmm. What would you say the hardest part of his hearing loss has been for you?
Just the fact that we used to love to go to concerts and movies, and the fact that he can no longer understand what things are being said. Or if we go to a play, he needs the volume to be turned up a lot louder, or he forgets a lot because his dementia has really affected him a lot these past couple months, and it's just gotten a lot worse.
Yeah. That must be very, very difficult for you, and I'm sorry to hear that. My goal today is I want to get his devices fit properly to his hearing aid, and I want to train you to be the best advocate for him that you can be, because tackling this piece of the puzzle could very well help him to be more successful. But as you know, dementia is more than just hearing. And so I do have a list of support groups for dementia that I would like for you to consider going together. It'll get you out of the house. It'll get you some peers that know exactly what you're going through. Because I can't fully understand how it feels, as much as I have seen this and as much as I empathize. Those who are going through it themselves are going to know what you're going through and have the best suggestions outside of hearing for what to do.
That'd be really good, because this is a very lonely adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's by my side, he's not really all there.
Yeah. I mean, it's extremely difficult. I've heard a lot of people say that it's very difficult. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's the promise we made to each other through sickness and health.
Oh. Well, I appreciate you coming in to be an advocate for your husband.
Thank you.
I also recommend, keep your brains active. Do crossword puzzles and regular puzzles and quizzes. And, try to find activities where you two can sit there and work together. Walking is fantastic, and you have been doing a heck of a job, being there for your husband.
Well, I try. I love him a lot.
Do either of you have any more questions for me today?
No, I don't think so. Do you? I think we're good.
He's a little bit quiet today.
It's been a lot of information in one appointment. So.
Well, I would like to schedule a follow-up for you guys to come back and see me. I want to follow up. I want to be able to cover any more questions that you have, even if they're repeat questions. Let's bring any of those other devices you find around the house. We'll go over them, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Could only focus. You have one earring in that ear.
Did you stop the recording?